Mm-hmm.
Side. Wow. This side. This side. If I want what, sorry? Interpretation. Oh, interpretation. No, I think I'll be alright. Thank you. Alright.
Thank you.
Who's asking questions like?
We have Duncan Scott.
This,
and Tom Dean. They'll be asking the questions out there.
Oh, they'll be asking.
Yep.
Alright.
Anyone?
Are these on?
Yeah.
Oh. Just check. Don't want to say anything, yeah?
Hi, Tom. I know you've spoken a bit about your experience of having COVID. I was just hoping you could give us a bit more detail on what it was actually like for you that second time, and whether you really thought, you would make it here at that moment.
Yeah, so I did have it twice, the second time in the new year. The second time much worse than the first. I was quite ill for about 10 days, and I served the whole isolation period. And then it's a slow build back up because of the nature of the sport we do and the nature of the disease. You can't just go straight back into full-on training. So it required a few weeks of building back up. And that was around January, February time, and 2-3 months out from our Olympic trials, I'm stuck inside, unable to even exercise inside my own flat. So it was tough to kind of wrap my head around that during Olympic year. But my coach managed to keep me grounded and built me back up for a good Olympic trials, and we were able to have a solid block between then and now, and it paid off. Who picks who?
What?
Who picks who's on?
Tom, sorry to bag on about this. You probably want to talk about other stuff, but COVID, I mean, are you talking about serious fears for your health in terms of when you were ill the second time, or was it just about trying to get through it for your swimming? Do you know what I mean? Was it a serious sort of health issue you thought, to that level?
It wasn't, life-threatening. I'm quite young, I'm quite fit and healthy, so I was never super worried. But when you do a sport that requires so heavily on your cardiovascular system, and the disease is affecting your lungs, you're coughing and all that kind of stuff, you're a little bit worried about how you're going to build back in. When we're pushing ourselves 9-10 sessions a week, really kind of working hard and pushing your heart rate up and everything like that, it's kind of throws a few question marks in the air about how you're going to be able to recover from that.
Sorry, Tom, another COVID question, just following on from Andy's. The sense, did you ever think at any point, my Olympics are screwed, or, that sort of part, did that worry creep into your mindset at all?
I had a few pretty frank conversations with members of staff at the Bath National Centre, speaking about previous swimmers who had come back from injuries, but this was slightly different because, it wasn't so clear-cut. I think I was one of the first athletes in any British Olympic sport to contract COVID twice in such a short space of time. So, thank you. So there were quite a few question marks around it. And it was, I'm thinking, how am I going to be able to recover from this in time to get a solid block of work under my belt before we start tapering for Olympic trials? And I've got to post some pretty quick times in the 2-3 because of how stacked it is within Great Britain. So there were a few question marks around it, but like I said, my coach kept me grounded and kind of just built me slowly back up to where I am now.
Anyone else?
Tom, you spoke a little bit about Michael Phelps and sort of watching at your younger days. Can you talk about sort of how inspired you were? Was that a real kind of moment of inspiration, if you like, and like, I want to do that, I want to be that?
Yeah, I think as every young swimmer watches Michael Phelps, they feel a degree of inspiration. I remember watching him for the first time when I was 8 years old, back in Beijing in 2008, and then obviously London for my home games, I was able to watch him, and then Rio, while a few of the boys who I kind of started to clock onto within British swimming were racing them, and watching his final relay, everything like that, it was a real inspiration. And when you get to the games, you understand what a feat it was to secure as many Olympic medals as he did in the 16 or 20 years that he was racing. I mean, just look at the 9-day schedule. He was swimming so many times with heat, semis and finals. It really puts it in perspective, and the more I've progressed through the sport, the more I've appreciated what he's done.
Duncan, a question for Duncan. What does today's result, and as well as Adam Peaty's yesterday, say about the strength of British swimming right now, and obviously with more to come, hopefully?
Yeah, definitely. I'd say it sums up its depth and strength really well. You know, getting a 1-2 off the back of what Peaty was able to do as well. And you know, Peaty winning a gold, that event's still a disappointment because, you know, I think we were all pretty gutted for Wilby as well. So, no, I think that's a good thing as well, that we're always asking for more. And with that, we have high expectations because of how good the team is. And I think that's a really good thing. But yeah, there's plenty more opportunities for the team later on in the week. If that's mixed relays, the guys' relays, you know, coming up that myself and Dino are going to be a part of, you know, are looking good. So no, it's really exciting, especially there's plenty more individual opportunities as well for some of the guys as well.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
That's for you, mate.
What he said. Sorry, all I heard was Scotland. That's obviously a proud moment. Yeah, I guess that's the way the swimming works, with it being one of the first sports up. But yeah, no, I'm here representing Great Britain. You know, there's a few Scots on the team, but you know, it's not something that crossed my mind at all, or that I've thought about. Yeah, like, it's just a nice wee thing, I think.
Thank you.
Sweet as. I think that's us, pal. Cheers. Thank you.